And we are back with the City Championship second half. And I am still here with Jalen and Sean. What do you guys think needs to happen in the second half for Collinwood to turn this game around?
Penalties. Stopping penalties. Stop getting penalties. That's a big thing.
What about you?
Same thing I agree with Jalen. The penalties, they have to stop getting those penalties. Because, I mean, they're, I think, almost up to 9 or 10. That's stymieing them from, advancing the ball and getting something going. And down 20-0, it's a lot of momentum they're going to have to get in the second half.
Very true, very true. I'm going to go with ball control. As we've seen with John Marshall's offense, they put up 2 quick touchdowns in a matter of 2 possessions. And I think if they get the ball back, I don't think it's going to stop. So I think the longer that you hold on to the ball with Collinwood, the longer you keep John Marshall's offense off the field. And hopefully by doing so, you actually turn this into some kind of points, because the points are needed. You're down 3 scores, and it's actually for if you're John Marshall, it's only 2 scores before the mercy clock comes on. So if I'm Collinwood, I want to keep control of the ball. So we'll see as Collinwood gets the opening second half possession. They kicked off to John Marshall. So hopefully there's a turnaround. Coach Wheeler didn't have a heart attack in the locker room. Number Chaz Johnson and Jason Simon are back to return the second half kickoff. We're just waiting on referees, and this game will be good to go. Wow, speaking at halftime, I had a chance to run into some old Collinwood teammates from that year that I told you about. We beat John Marshall 26-0.
Yeah, fix the clock.
I ran into one of our quarterbacks, Ray Clark. It was good seeing him.
They want you to fix the clock.
Refs are set, but apparently the clock isn't set. And the kick is away. It's caught that's picked up now by Jason Simon. And Simon is stopped short of the 25, if not the 25-yard line. So that's where Collinwood will take over. 1st and 10. At the Collinwood 25.
Seeing some of your teammates from how does that take? Does that take you back to the old days?
Not really. Because honestly, that year we went 1-9.
Oh.
And we were actually one of our offensive and defensive lines actually were one of the biggest in the league at that year.
Wow.
And we went 1-9. We lost to the heartbreaker was a 4th and 40 bomb against John Hay, which gave John Hay the win.
Oh.
Which is why seeing that John Hay game 2 weeks ago hurt. John Hay was not the John Hay I remember. And we ended up losing that game back then in 2001. It was like 14-7 because of that. And Brown under center. Chaz Johnson, the ball carrier, goes nowhere.
Gotta watch that extracurricular activity after the plays. That's the biggest thing for Collinwood right now.
Yeah, and as from what I've been told, one player he's either been ejected or he has to sit maybe this quarter. But either way, it's still, the penalties are what's kept John Marshall in this game and actually given John Marshall the lead.
Yes.
Defensively, the further you back up to your own end zone, the easier it is for the other team to score. So,
Capitalized they did.
yeah, twice. And two rushing touchdowns and a pick six for John Marshall is how they got into this game. But we will see where the momentum goes for Collinwood, as it is now 2nd down and 10. Brown takes the snap and throws it. It's a high ball. And Jacob Brown has not been accurate today, except for maybe 2 passes, which is not good. Last week he was the same way in the first half, but in the second half he calmed down. And got a couple touchdowns, not touchdowns, but a couple passes to set up touchdowns. So maybe this is just not his night. I don't know. Maybe that injury that you had noticed earlier is probably hindering his passing ability.
Yeah, but notice he's not throwing with his, you're not seeing his arm go up and extending. It's to the, it's almost like not quite sidearm, but and that one went, way high. Keep watching him.
3rd and 10 for Collinwood. Brown takes the snap. He's looking to throw. He throws it. And it is short, incomplete. He had Chaz Johnson open, and it could have been a big play, but now it turns 4th down. It'll be 4th and 10 on the Collinwood 24-yard line. And Collinwood not starting the second half off the way they want.
Yeah, not at all. Hopefully it's something that they can turn around on their next drive. Maybe this is just a drive to get into the second half, just a little bump in the road.
Hopefully that is the case, but we will see as D'Angelo Solomon is back to punt and back to return this. It looks like Tavion Jackson. Kick is away. It's short. It takes a bounce out of bounds. And it will be spotted at the Collinwood 45-yard line. So that is where John Marshall will take over. As John Marshall gets a 3 and out, and the defense gets off the field. If anybody knows Coach Cleggett, it's probably put him to bedtime, as probably will be looking to put another touchdown up and put this game on ice. So 1st and 10 Lawyers. Mar Lakes is in the shotgun, the pistol formation, 4 wide receivers. His hands off to, looks like Newhoff. Oh, it's Mir Atkins, excuse me. And he is dragged down. He's dragged down by Thomas Ware. And it's a gain of 4. So it'll be 2nd and 6.
Good defensive stop for Collinwood there. That guy's not easy to bring down, as we've seen earlier.
Yeah, Atkins, Newhoff, he's got Jackson to a degree. This guy is very hard to bring down. 2nd and 6. And Lake's hands off again to Pope. And Pope gets the 1st down, and he's still running. He hits the sideline, and he's finally brought down. Marcus Montgomery on that tackle.
It's a great run for John Marshall. All of the running backs are doing really good today. I have a strong running back core.
Yeah, and spoke to Coach Clegg earlier in the week. He said he was going to rely on his running game in this game because his running game is a strength. And it's basically showing up today that it is the strength of this John Marshall offense. So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 15 or 14. And there's a flag on the play. There's a false start against John Marshall. Even with the penalty, John Marshall can still get a first down inside the 5 at what looks like the 3. So this could be 4-down territory even if they don't get the first down, as I'm pretty sure the lawyers are looking to put this game away so they can hoist up that city championship trophy.
Absolutely. Keep applying pressure. That's what they need to do.
Pope's speed was huge, by the way, on that last play before.
Yeah, Pope has amazing speed. I actually saw him on Fox 8 earlier in the season. Pope, again, breaks a tackle. He's still on his feet. He's brought down by Montgomery. And Montgomery seems to be the only person able to tackle Pope at this point. I don't know if that would change, but Marshall now with the gain of 10, so it's 3rd down and 2nd and 5 inside the 10-yard line at the 9. A beautiful night for the Senate All-League players to show up at halftime, and some old players and new players alike for both teams in both schools. Man in motion for Lakes. Lakes takes the snap. He hands it off to Pope. Pope's got a lane. He looks like he may get it.
Oh, wow.
As he's in. Touchdown Warriors. So on the first possession of the second half for John Marshall punches it in with no problem.
Pope was not denied.
No, he wasn't, and that spells disaster for Collinwood, as this game is almost out of reach, even with still being early in the 3rd quarter.
One thing that we're about tonight is 61 degrees out here tonight. That is actually really a nice time. It could have been like in the 50s by now.
Now, normally, you're right, because normally when we've done these games, it's been cold.
Yeah.
And we have to keep the windows open. And Lakes takes the snap, he steps out of the pocket, he's looking, he throws, and it is incomplete. So, John Marshall 1 for 4 on 2-point plays, but doesn't even matter at this point, as the lead for John Marshall is now 26-0 over Collinwood. Yeah, going back to that weather thing. Normally we've done these games, Sean. It has been cold.
Yes.
The window's been open because we have to get the spot. We just have to do everything that broadcast crew have to do. With 61 degrees, I can't understand it. Right? But this whole month of October has been pretty warm. So, but that just means, sadly, that the winter is going to be pretty brutal.
Winter's going to hit us hard.
And for those watching in Cleveland, it get cold.
Tomorrow night's playoff games, I think, are all going to be affected.
Oh, man.
It's going to be very chilly, and like tonight's crisp. Tomorrow's going to be very, that cold you get because of the rain is going to be just raw.
The good thing for us over at Lutheran West is that we're not immediately by the lake, so I think we'll be okay. I think the rain will hit us, but outside of that, I think we'll be okay.
Who's Lutheran West at tomorrow?
We have Perkins out of Sandusky, Region 14. Yes. So we were the 8th seed, but nonetheless, kick is away and the whistle blows, and it looks like the refs are probably going to call an illegal procedure.
last week in Sandusky was the big showdown, by the way, between the two Sandusky schools, Perkins and the regular, they just call them Sandusky.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big rival game out there in Cedar Point Stadium.
I couldn't understand that one. Like, how did Cedar Point build that stadium, or was it just they?
I think it's just a naming rights thing. I haven't actually seen the stadium. Is it a brand new stadium?
It looked like a brand new stadium. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say it wasn't. The ball's picked up. Looks like Simon. I couldn't get a number. But he's down almost the exact same spot, maybe a couple yards more. So it'll be Collinwood's ball at the 20. Looks like the 25, or 20, close to the 25. It'll actually be the 26-yard line. Actually, no, it'll be a 25, excuse me.
They very well could have built the stadium, because the only other stadium I knew that was built by the town, by Spire Institute out in Geneva, Ohio. They built a brand new complex, period. And Geneva High School now plays their football games in this beautiful brand new stadium that they have.
Speaking of the Spire Institute, because actually, when I was in my minor league football days, it's actually funny. One year we actually got to play at the Spire Institute when it was first built. It was a great complex back then. But we stepped on that field all summer before Geneva did, which was actually kind of cool because you got to see the ins and outs of that place. It's a beautiful facility. Beautiful facility. If you have not gotten a chance to go over there and check it out, go check it out in Geneva, Ohio. Field's beautiful. Just the atmosphere of that place is awesome.
It is.
Well, first and 10, Collinwood. Brown takes the snap. He hands off to Solomon, but Solomon is swallowed up for a no gain. And what would normally be a good running attack has now been marred by a stifling run defense for John Marshall.
The only thing that got ruined in Geneva, unfortunately, was their band would start at one end of the town, march through the whole town, and all the way to the stadium on game day. And that's amazing. Is that what Shaw did too? They started somewhere and marched into the stadium.
Well,
correct?
Shaw traditionally would start at the school.
Okay.
And I live a couple minutes away from Shaw off of Euclid, and you could actually hear the band from our house at times.
That's awesome.
That's how you knew it was football season in the summer. But traditionally Shaw would actually there's a flag on the play, but Shaw would start at the school and block off this part of Euclid just to walk down to the stadium. It sounded like rolling thunder. With the penalty for Collinwood, it goes back to first and 15. Second and 15. Second and 15. Ball now will be spotted at the 20. And these penalties have been a nuisance for Collinwood.
Yeah, they just keep stacking up and stacking up. It's inevitable at this point for them.
Well, Jalen, you called it earlier before the game, pregame. Got to keep control of the penalties.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're struggling with that tonight.
So second and 15. Brown takes the snap. There's a fumble on the play, and Brown looks like he recovers it. So it'll be third, and it'll be another loss on that play as well. Gotta imagine this is not the way Coach Wheeler wanted this game to go, nor did the Railroaders for that matter. As again, this was a rematch from 2018, which was a very good game. You know, both defenses showed up. It was just the numbers for Marshall just kind of overwhelmed Collinwood. But ironically, in hindsight, Collinwood did their job by actually beating John Adams to get into this game. as they did back in 2018 when they rattled off 4 straight to make it to the city championship. 3rd and forever. And Brown in the shotgun. Brown takes a snap. It's low. He throws.
Oh,
It's picked off. And another pick 6 for John Marshall. And it just keeps getting worse for Collinwood.
Timothy Jennings on that one.
Well, Timothy Jennings, after Tavion Jackson started it off, it's just not looking good for Collinwood. Now the game is completely out of reach, even with 4:28 to go in the 3rd quarter. You gotta assume the mercy clock will be on at this point.
That's what I'm thinking. Timothy Jennings did a really good job at reading where that tip ball was going to go. After it tipped off his hands, he did a good job at knowing where it was going to go.
Well, with that, John Marshall will attempt another 2-point play, and hopefully Collinwood can stop it. Hands off to Pope, and Pope gets the 2-point conversion, so it is now 34-0. John Marshall.
One of the Rhodes Rams kids is getting a cookie.
Oh man, he just snuck up here trying to get a cookie? Really? In a game like this, I guess you could go for a snack.
Absolutely.
It's number 3.
That's actually one of the Senate All-Star or Senate All-Conference players for Rhodes, who will be playing tomorrow night in their first playoff game. I gotta, with this game the way it is, I gotta take a moment to actually figure out as to why, the Senate doesn't get as much coverage as it should. And the kick is away, and the ball goes out of bounds, so Collinwood will actually start off a decent field position. But going back to what I was saying, as you look at the program for the city championship, you see a lot of history.
You do.
A lot of history in these programs, with just the scores of this game. And traditionally, for those that don't know, traditionally this game was so big that this game was played on Thanksgiving at Municipal Stadium. For those not old enough to remember, that's the old Brown Stadium, an old Indian Stadium, before the new Browns got here in 1999. But going back to those games, that game used to be played on Thanksgiving at the old stadium, and you'd see Cathedral Latin, Benedictine, St. Ignatius, just teams you normally wouldn't hear about outside of Fox 8 in the city championship for this game, for this league, as they were all, as Cathedral Latin, Holy Name, Benedictine, and St. Ignatius were all part of the Senate at one point. So, just a lot of history in the Senate that hasn't been mentioned or touched on.
Yeah, I feel like you're definitely right about that. The Senate doesn't get as much love as it should. If this is any other division, I feel like it would be talked about a lot more.
You're absolutely right, but thankfully, you, Sean, and I are here to rectify that problem, as we have been here all season with the game of the week, and we like to thank the Cleveland Metropolitan School District for that opportunity, as these schools and these players and these coaches deserved it. So, high snap is picked up. Oh, it's not picked up, and the ball is still out, and we will wait, and it is recovered by John Marshall.
Wow.
So the Creek has now sent Collinwood up it without the paddle, and it looks like it is not going to go well, as the referee has now signaled the clock to keep running, so that means the mercy clock has been instituted. And for those watching and those that don't know, the mercy clock is when a team is above 30 points in the second half, the clock will continuously run to avoid any injury or further embarrassment.
Now, if Collinwood were to score, the clock would go back to the regular standard.
Yes, that is correct. If Collinwood were to score, hopefully they can generate some type of points. We will see. So with that, it is 1st and 10 for John Marshall. Lakes sends a man in motion. Lakes takes a snap. He hands off to Pope. Pope up the middle. And Pope's still on his feet. And he's finally brought down at the, looks like the 10. So 1st and 10. Lawyers at the Collinwood 10.
Pope has just been tearing this defense apart this game. This second half, actually, he's been going crazy.
And there is an injury time on the field, so we will come out. We will come back after the injury timeout. Whew. Man, I didn't think it was going to be this bad. Man, we ain't won one since 07, man. Give us one. That's what I should have did the first time. Now we not dropping nothing.
Yeah.
I'll figure this out. I'll figure out how to keep it the way it is. I got a whole off season to play with it. And we are back after the injury timeout. Lakes takes a snap. He hands off the Pope. Pope is up the middle, but he is met, and he is finally brought down inside what looks like the 5. Or he's met at. He's actually going to be spotted at the 6-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and 6. So 2nd and goal for the Lawyers, as they're just burning clock at this point. Not looking to maybe not looking to rush into possibly scoring a touchdown. Lakes in the pistol formation. There's a man in motion. And there's an offside penalty, so that would make it what it looks like unlucky number 13 on the penalty side for Collinwood. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter with the Lawyers leading 34-0. We will be back with the 4th quarter. No bye, no nothing. You just gonna leave us, huh? He knows this gonna go. You losing weight on me, man?
Yeah.
Everybody trying to check your ESPN apps. Cavs beat the Clippers last night. I was surprised.
Trying to stay up and watch the game, but I fell asleep.
I didn't even care to watch it. I just followed it on my ESPN because they wouldn't. When you got Hulu, they don't want to stream some of the games.
Yeah.
And Bally's or FS1 or whatever the hell it is.
Bally's Sport.
They don't have a deal with the Cavs. No, they don't have a deal with Bally's. And we are back with the 4th quarter, and it is 3rd and goal. And Lakes hands off to Pope, and Pope walks in for the touchdown. You can faintly hear the John Marshall crowd as they have showed up and showed out today. So has the band, or the drum line rather. But either way, on a Thursday night with nothing much to do, you can see some of the Collinwood faithful clearing out. But those that are sticking around, we appreciate you. John Marshall will attempt another 2-point conversion. Which will actually Lake's under shotgun. He drops back to pass. He looks, flushed out of the pocket, avoids the tackler. He's still looking. He throws. He doesn't throw. He throws again now, and he gets the 2-point conversion.
He dropped it.
Oh, he dropped it.
Yes.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
He was wide open.
Yeah, we saw that. That was clear. He was as open as the freeway at 4 a.m., but you got to come down with those.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Which actually brings me to our last Senate League trivia question. And it goes, what was the last blowout that John Marshall was a part of in the city championship game? And we will be back with that answer after the kickoff.
I was going to say, Ramon, going back to my childhood, growing up in Maple Heights, I lived right behind Southgate USA, and as a kid, because I had to be in bed at like 8 o'clock when I was a kid, I could hear the Chanel Firebirds band, the Bedford Bearcats band, and the Maple Heights Mustangs band. Oh, and Mr. Heroes too, Mr. Chicken, the drive-thru.
Oh man, you had it good then.
Yeah, as a kid, I mean, hearing all three of those bands on a Friday night was amazing.
Well, shout out to it was picked up by Simon. Simon's looking for a lane. He does have one. He breaks a tackle. He's down the sideline. He's still on his feet.
Still.
And he's finally brought down close to midfield. But I was going to say shout out to Eric Machowski, good friend of mine. He's actually a Chanel alum. It's funny that you mentioned Chanel. But honestly, to be honest with you, that you mentioned Bedford and Maple Heights, I hated playing at Bedford. Because Bedford was one of the last places to change over AstroTurf.
Yes.
And oh my God, the AstroTurf in the summer/August is not very friendly to the feet or your shoes.
Well, they had a very old stadium. It was a rickety old stadium with grass for many years, and then they got the funding to build a Bearcat Stadium, which is still a very amazing stadium.
Bearcat Stadium is gorgeous. Even now, even with the small press box, but the I guess you would call it luxury seating.
Yeah, that's been around. I mean, that stadium's been around for a long time now. It still looks wonderful.
It got the Bedford Bearcat Hall of Fame in the locker rooms, or leading to the locker rooms rather. And then my least favorite place to play at Stafford Stadium,
Yeah.
which is where the Mustangs used to play in Maple Heights. Oh my God, that grass was terrible.
Yeah, it was a bad stadium.
And there's more laundry. It is false start against Collinwood, so that would make it an even 14 on the day.
Jalen, where did you grow up at?
I grew up in Elyria, Ohio, so I'm not familiar with any of this area out here.
This is Jalen's first trip to the east side.
Oh, okay.
But he's seen a good portion of it as we ventured from here to Dwayne Browder over by East Tech.
Yes.
So
Eli Stadium is the old Eli Stadium was a nice place. Now they have a brand new Eli Stadium. That place is amazing.
Oh yeah, their new stadium is beautiful.
there's a fumble. There's a fumble on the play. And it is picked up by Collinwood as Brown falls on it. So this game is not only has it been ugly, but it's starting to be heartbreaking now. Yeah, you know what? Since you brought that up, not Elyria, but Moraine, the George James Stadium is gorgeous now. It was always gorgeous, but just seeing it now with the new turf is beautiful. The sights and sounds of high school football in Ohio is just something you have to be here to see. As a few sites all over the northeastern Ohio area alone, Massillon, Camden, Kinley, even in Jackson and Perry and Massillon.
The Browns did that turf at the rain too at Georgia.
Yeah, they did. Actually, I take that back because I've been told people fight about that.
Really?
Brown takes the snap and drops back. He throws.
Gosh.
And it is caught. That was a great catch.
Oh, that's sad.
But the ref waves it off incomplete. Oh, man. This is just not the night.
I'm going to have to disagree with the ref on that one.
Yeah, we all are.
Definitely. Robert Williams had a great catch.
Yeah, and they just took it from him. But, no, I was going to say, Perry Township, I forgot. They don't associate themselves with Massillon because there's a big turf war over there.
Panthers.
But the Panthers do have a great stadium over there. I played at that stadium. It was very beautiful. The Jumbotron works just as well as any Jumbotron you would see. Lakewood Stadium is always a state playoff venue, home to the St. Edwards Eagles and Byers Field. So for those who are not familiar with Ohio high school football, if you ever come to check out Ohio high school football, those are some of the places to check out. Brown takes a snap again, he drops back, he throws, and it is incomplete again.
Nearly intercepted too.
Nearly intercepted, and Brown was nearly ran through as the blitzer came off the edge and almost killed him. But it is now 4th down, and I think that the Railroaders will go for it as the clock has not been a friend as 5:23 is left in the 4th quarter.
Where did Colin play before here?
We actually play at Bump Taylor, which used to be Patrick Henry. And being that the Senate had more teams than it had football fields, everybody had a rotated field. So at any given Friday, we'd be sent from Bump Taylor to John F. Kennedy to Marshall to Rhodes. It's not like it used to be in the 80s and early 90s from what I'm told. Brown takes a snap, he drops back the pass, he throws it. And it's caught! And he's still on his feet! And they're looking at the back of his jersey, touchdown Railroaders. So Jacob Brown finally connects to DeMarcus Montgomery, and DeMarcus Montgomery comes through for the Railroaders and actually puts one on the board. So it is now a 40-6 lead in favor of John Marshall. Montgomery made a great catch and an even better effort to get into the end zone. A little too late though, as Collinwood finally gets on the board in the 4th quarter. I don't think that's going to change the Marshall.
Makes it look a little better though that they're able to score, so it's not a complete blowout.
Yeah, you're right, but even with that, it's still too little too late. But Brown connects on the pass, so got to give him credit for the effort.
This is just like that play we were looking at early in the game. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for Collinwood. It would have been pretty to see one of those earlier.
Yeah, it would have been great to see that earlier. But Marshall's defense has been keeping them out of the end zone up until this point, so it kind of, I would say, fate for Collinwood to get on the board. And Brown takes the snap, he hands it off, and he is stopped. It looks like that was number 4, Thomas Ware, who was stopped for the 2-point play. So it is now a 40-6 lead in favor of John Marshall. And going back to our trivia question, which was John Marshall was part of a blowout, the last real blowout in the city championship game? And anybody had an answer?
I don't.
I don't either.
Now, the answer to that question was 2014, as they were beat on by John Adams, 34-0. So that was the last true blowout we had in the city championship. As John Marshall was involved in the blowout, they were just on the receiving end of the blowout. So Tavion Jackson back to receive the kickoff. And D'Angelo Solomon will be back to kickoff. It's even with the blowout, it's still great to see Senate teams on the field, especially with the COVID and everything. Everybody had issues with COVID,
Yes.
and COVID shutting down the 2020 season, which actually hurt the Senate, in my opinion. As far as sending teams to the state playoffs is, if you played your schedule, you were in for the 2020 season.
Yeah.
And I thought that would have been a great opportunity to send everybody in, but the kick is away, and Jackson looks like he has it. Actually, no, it's not. And he's got one man to beat.
He is gone.
And he is gone. Touchdown. But there's a fight on the field.
Not what we want to see. Not what we want to see.
And the whistles are blowing and the referees are throwing flags. They have broken it up. And sorry, folks, we're not going to show you that because that's not what the Senate is about. But a great kickoff return has just been marred by what will be either offsetting penalties on a main or a penalty against one of the two schools.
The hardest part of a game like this, with it being so, 40-6, is, people are gonna talk, and you were hoping nothing like this happened. So hopefully we can finish the 2:58 to go.
And you are correct on that. So while the stoppage is in play, we'll let the referees discuss what is going to happen.
And they're not counting the score count or no?
No,
No?
because it was a live play.
Oh.
If it was a dead ball play, yeah. But because it happened on the field before he got into the end zone, I just happened to turn my head and see it. So.
Yeah, I didn't even notice, to be honest.
I didn't even notice till you
We
said
were all
something.
focused on
I saw it.
touchdown.
That's why I focus on the screen, and I just happened to look,
Yeah.
and I saw somebody's feet go in the air, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Well, and one thing we can say, from all the years that we've been doing this, we've not seen any extracurricular activity like that ever. It's
No.
always been
Been a
great
great
games and nothing. I mean, again, it happens.
It does, but
It's a hard game.
This one is a hard pill to swallow.
It is.
So are they gonna finish the two? Coach Cleggett and
Because there's always a chance they could end the game here because they know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
that's probably what they're discussing. I hope that's not the case. But
correct. You want to see them finish this game because now we've seen chicanery in any. This doesn't. It happens everywhere. It's not just
yeah, we saw it when Fairview was like that. Our first game against Fairview, we beat on them. They was wanting to fight.
You'd be ashamed of the game ended like this.
I don't want it to end like this.
No.
It's been a great broadcast.
Yes.
That's
But in
crazy.
high school sports, unfortunately, when you do have, let's see, run the clock, they're just going to run it down, run the game out like that, I believe.
Yeah,
That's how they do that?
I think that's what they're going to do. That's the smartest move.
very
Let the
smart.
clock run out, and that's it.
That's it. The game is over.
That's crazy.
That's pretty out there on the field.
how we used to say you're gonna win the game, but you ain't gonna win the fight. But we used to wait after the game. Come on, guys.
Remember that game from Garfield?
Oh man, that was. You know what?
It's on YouTube.
I know it is, but
Which one was it?
I have no clue.
It was Hollywood against Garfield.
Garfield Heights?
Yeah, that was the one that was on the
Oh,
news.
that's right. Yeah, that was on the news. Yeah.
But you know what?
That's right.
We never really had those kind of fights with any other suburban schools. We used to have them fights with Tech. Like literally, Tech and Kennedy. Them was the fights. And we are back, and it looks like the referees have decided to end the game. So, unfortunately, for you viewers at home, the game is over, and John Marshall will win the 2021 Senate League City Championship by a score of 40-6.
It's a shame the game had to end like that.
It is, but you know, it was the smarter and the best thing to do for both.
Absolutely, I agree 100% with that.
But for those watching, we'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. Jalen, it's been a pleasure to have you on board. Appreciate it. Sean, it was great reuniting with you.
Well, thank you for having me out here. Also, Jalen, very pleasure to meet you as well.
Thank you. Pleasure to meet you as well. Also.
This is a great tradition we have to keep going. Hopefully we will see you guys next season, and we will bring more Senate League action to you. As you know, this has been an awesome experience. You know,
Good job, guys. Good job.
Couldn't ask for more out of the Cleveland City School District, as this was something that was much needed, and it can only go up from here. So.
I have to give a special shout out to the Brunswick Blue Devils. Tomorrow night they host Maria Midpark. I forgot what they Titans.
Yeah.
Good luck to the Brunswick Blue Devils and my son Noah Barczyk.
I forgot they were the Titans, but those little lucky little things over there. They get to play at Baldwin Wallace, man.
Yeah.
Baldwin Wallace has always been a beautiful stadium. George, let me phrase it: Trestle Field at George Finney Stadium. You can't get any better than that. And we will actually end the broadcast here. You can catch out the trophy presentations on our social media outlets between Twitter and Facebook. So for the 216 Sports Network, for Sean Bartzak, for Jalen Keith, I'm Romel Thorpe. We will see you guys next season.